through the airwaves and all around the world. You're listening to Mr. Scott's podcast.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Mr. Scott from Mr. Scott's podcast. I hope you guys are all doing well out there. Today, I want to share the testimony of T. Graham Brown, country singer, country star T. Graham Brown. He's going to share his testimony about why he gave his life to Jesus Christ, and he's going to talk a little bit about his hit song, Wine into Water, that kind of became just like a prayer anthem for people who struggle with alcoholism and, other types of addictions. So, let's get right into it. This is a really good testimony, a big blessing. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's roll it.
So anyway, I'm partying the whole time, and I started drinking when I was in high school and just never let up. I went to the University of Georgia, but I majored in partying, I think. And so it was a given that I was a drinker and pot smoker and hellraiser. That was part of the deal that you got with me. And then I had friends that we were on the same wavelength. Keith Whitley was one of my best friends, and we toured together, and he died of alcohol poisoning. And he was at home. We had just gotten in off the road, and then like 2 days later, he choked on his own vomit. I mean, it was pitiful. You would think that it would have knocked some sense into my head, but it didn't. His manager called me up and said, "Man, we found Keith dead this morning." And I thought, wow, this is crazy. And he started crying and said, "Can I send these reporters and news people to your house? I can't face them." So all these news people showed up at my house. And I had to be the face of the Keith Whitley tragedy. But I didn't slow down. Keith and I used to go to this psychologist. They made us go to this psychologist on Music Row and sit in this group therapy thing where everybody whined about their problems and everybody was trying to get sober. And Keith and I were looking at our watch saying, "Boy, when's this going to be over? We want to go get a drink." I mean, we were totally not buying into the program. And then I would try to, the Capitol Records people said, "Look, if you don't get sobered up, we're going to drop you." So I'd get on the horse and ride a while and fall off, get on the horse and ride a while and fall off. And then we wrote this song a few years later, called Wine into Water. My friend Bruce Birch, who just passed away, great songwriter, wrote a lot of number ones. We wrote some hits for me together, and he was cutting grass, he told me, and this Wine into Water idea came to him. And I think he was really thinking about me because we were such close friends, and I was in bad shape. There was another friend named Ted Hewitt, and we all got together, and we wrote this song called Wine into Water, and it's just a prayer to get sober. That's all the song is. But I didn't get sobered up and stay sober. I'd be drunk again, sober up, get drunk again. And then finally, I'm 67 years old, so about 11 or 12 years ago, I didn't write the day down, but I woke up with a hangover. I mean, I got to where I was pouring vodka in my coffee and firing up a joint first thing in the morning. I mean, that's where I was. That's where my head was. I was just about to die. I woke up one morning, it's just a cliche of a story that you've heard before, but it's true. I looked in the mirror. I was just sick and tired of being tired and sick. And I looked in the mirror one day, and I looked like death. And I said, "Man, what are you doing? You're about to blow everything. You're about to lose your family, your job, everything." And I asked God to help me. And I have not had one craving since that moment. It's amazing. I went from thinking 24 hours, if I was awake, I was wanting to make sure I had another drink handy or another joint handy or a pill or whatever it was. I wasn't, if I got to where when the bus would pull into a town, my eyes would search for a liquor store and I can zero in on them. To this day, it was such a habit. I'll spot a liquor store, bam, just like radar. I don't stop anymore, or even think about stopping. But what I'm saying is, I would see the liquor store and then I would go, okay, now I know I can go buy something to drink. That's what I was thinking about. And I went from thinking about that constantly to never thinking about it.
Isn't God good?
Like that, bam.
He's so wonderful. You know, before we close, I want to know where you're going and what is God doing in your life now?
Shoot, man, I'm having the time of my life. I'm having more fun. You know, when I quit drinking, I was scared I was going to lose all my fun. I was scared that I wasn't going to have any fun anymore. I always looked at the people that weren't partying as a bunch of squares. I would think, don't y'all know there's a party going on over here? What are y'all even thinking? I mean, we're having fun over here. And then I found out, bam, that I was having way more fun now than I ever was when I was doing all that whiskey and dope. And I know it sounds corny, but it's the truth. And I'm sure some people will see this, you know. But hey, I'm here to tell you, man, I've been there and I know what I'm talking about. And I can get people that have addiction problems or mental health problems. I'm just severely bipolar. And thank goodness Sheila got me to a good doctor that finally diagnosed. And that was one thing that my doctor told me that was fueling my drinking and all was my manic.
Well, I know somebody right now is listening to you, and you're an inspiration to them. And T. Graham, I am just so honored, and thank you so much
you're
for
welcome.
coming onto the show. And I know somebody is being blessed
See,
right
that's
now.
the thing. I end every show with wine into water, and I tell them my story because you never know who's going to get blessed. And I was talking to Larry Gatlin the other day, and I'd done my testimony during a show, and I said, man, do you think this is too corny or anything? He said, man, don't you ever stop doing that, because the day that you don't do it, there's probably somebody out there that needs to hear it.
That's right.
And Wine into Water continues to help people. I urge people to go on YouTube and watch the Wine into Water videos. I've had people tell me it's changed their mind about suicide. I had an old couple write me a letter that their son had dropped dead cutting their grass, and they made a suicide pact and were going to kill themselves, and her Wine into Water changed her mind. This woman told me she'd been beaten up by her husband again, went out on a lonely road, was going to shoot herself in the head, turned on the radio and bam, Wine into Water came on, changed her mind. This football player in Tampa told me that he started smoking crack. He lost his 3 daughters, his wife, his job, his house, went through his money, pulled his truck out on New Year's Day out in the field, hooked up a hose to the exhaust pipe, ran it in the cab, going to kill himself, turned on the radio, and bam, Wine into Water came on. I got stories like that all day long. I hear from people every week.
Well, I know somebody today is listening.
Well, there's a way out. I'm telling you, there's a way out. And Jesus Christ can change your life, and it's real. God is real, and don't ever doubt it.